Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Zach Sieler has quietly become one of the most reliable and disruptive forces on the Miami Dolphins defensive line, and now the NFL world is finally beginning to notice. Entering his 8th season in the league, Sieler was recently named an honorable mention among the top defensive tackles in the NFL by an anonymous NFL coordinator, according to a report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. This is no small feat, especially in a league packed with elite talent at the defensive tackle position. What makes this recognition more compelling is that Sieler's rise came in the absence of longtime teammate Christian Wilkins, who departed for the Las Vegas Raiders. Without Wilkins occupying blockers or soaking up attention, Sieler took on a leadership role and thrived in it. In many ways, 2024 became a breakout year for him. Not in terms of raw talent, which he's always had, but in terms of league-wide perception. He stepped up when his team needed him most. The anonymous coordinator's words spoke volumes. He's probably getting more credit because Christian Wilkins wasn't there. He's worked himself into an all-pro caliber player. Tough, smart, dependable, ultimate team guy. That quote encapsulates everything the Dolphins see in Sieler and more. He isn't just a plug-and-play interior lineman who clogs lanes. He's a genuine disruptor. The kind of player who wins with leverage, technique, and sheer willpower. While Wilkins often drew the spotlight in years past, Sieler quietly matched or exceeded his impact in several key areas. Now, with Wilkins out of the picture in Miami, Sieler has assumed the mantle of the team's premier interior force. He's earned the respect of coaches and peers. And although he didn't crack the top 10 of ESPN's defensive tackle rankings, his honorable mention status signals that he's inching closer to that elite tier. Sieler's numbers in 2024 speak louder than any coordinator's praise. Despite playing in just 15 games, he racked up 10 sacks for the second year in a row. An incredibly rare feat for a defensive tackle, especially one in a primarily three-man front. He added 13 tackles for loss and 19 quarterback hits, showing a consistent ability to penetrate the backfield and collapse pockets. Those are impact stats, the kind that alter game plans and frustrate offensive coordinators. His quick first step, combined with strength at the point of attack, made him a nightmare for guards and centers across the league. When opponents tried to double him, it only freed up lanes for other rushers. When they left him one-on-one, they paid the price. And while Miami's season had its ups and downs, one constant remained. Zach Sieler was always making plays. What makes his performance even more impressive is the context. Without Wilkins, who commanded frequent double teams and anchored Miami's line for years, many expected the Dolphins' defensive front to take a step back in 2024. Instead, it was Sieler who anchored the unit, drawing the toughest assignments and still producing at a high level. He wasn't just surviving, he was dominating. His ability to play both nose and three technique allowed the Dolphins to stay flexible with their fronts, and his conditioning kept him on the field in crucial moments. Coaches trust him, teammates rally around him, and now, with his league-wide recognition beginning to grow, the rest of the NFL is catching on to what Miami fans already know. Zach Sieler is the real deal. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time Sieler's name appeared in ESPN's rankings. In 2024, he received votes but didn't earn honorable mention status. That might have seemed like a snub at the time, but now, 1 year later, he's taken that next step. The leap from being merely in the conversation to receiving formal recognition is huge. And while he didn't break into the top 10, Cameron Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers secured the final spot. There's a growing sense that Sieler is closing the gap fast. Hayward, 36 years old and dealing with injuries, may be on the decline. Sieler, meanwhile, is in his prime. If he replicates or improves upon his 2024 performance, there's a very real chance we see his name inside that top 10 next summer. Of course, no discussion about Miami's defensive interior is complete without mentioning Christian Wilkins. The former Dolphin star was also listed as an honorable mention, despite missing most of the 2024 season due to a Jones fracture. Now, with the Las Vegas Raiders, Wilkins' absence in Miami created a void that Sieler filled brilliantly. Still, There's no denying Wilkins' talent when healthy. I know he's hurt, but I love this guy. Absolutely a top interior player when healthy, said another NFL coordinator. That's high praise, and a reminder that Miami once had two of the best defensive tackles in the game on the same roster. Their dominance in the trenches was a luxury that's hard to replicate, but the Dolphins are now hoping a new face can help re-establish that kind of presence. Enter Kenneth Grant, Miami's first-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Dolphins selected the Michigan standout with high hopes, and the early buzz around him is overwhelmingly positive. Grant finished his final collegiate season with the Wolverines racking up 32 tackles, 3 sacks, and 5 passes defended. Solid numbers that earned him All-American honors. More than stats, though, it was his blend of size, athleticism, and effort that made scouts drool. At over 330 pounds, Grant moves with shocking agility, making him an ideal complement to a technician like Sailor. Together, they could form a devastating duo in the heart of Miami's defense, restoring the identity that Wilkins helped create and Sailor has carried forward. During organized team activities, OTAs, Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver spoke glowingly about Grant's potential. "I'm really excited about Kenneth Grant and what he brings to the middle of that defense," Weaver said. Him just being in here and having the opportunity to work with Benito Jones and Zach Sealer and obviously defensive line coach Austin Clark, whatever he's supposed to be at the end of the day, I promise you he will reach every bit of God-given potential. That kind of endorsement doesn't come lightly. Weaver knows what dominant interior play can do for a defense. And pairing a young, hungry talent like Grant with a seasoned leader like Sealer could be the formula for success in 2025 and beyond. The mentorship between Sealer and Grant could be the key to unlocking this new-look Dolphins front. Sealer's work ethic and team-first mentality set the standard. He's not the kind of player who seeks headlines. He earns them with his play. That's the kind of influence a rookie like Grant needs as he adjusts to the NFL. Learning from a guy who fought his way into prominence, who didn't arrive with fanfare but made his mark through grit, could accelerate Grant's development. The Dolphins aren't just looking for production, they're building a culture, one that values accountability, toughness, and unselfish play. With Sealer leading the charge and Grant following his example, Miami's defensive interior could soon become one of the league's most feared units once again. Looking ahead, 2025 feels like a pivotal year for Zach Sailor, with momentum building, expectations growing, and a potential top 10 ranking within reach. He has every reason to elevate his game further. He's proven he can thrive under pressure, lead by example, and make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. Now, the next step is solidifying his legacy. Can he dominate for a third straight year? Can he stay healthy, consistent, and productive with increased attention? If he does, there will be no denying his place among the NFL's elite defensive tackles. And maybe, just maybe, next time this list comes out, Sailor won't just be an honorable mention. He'll be a name you have to include in the top 10. The time is now, and the spotlight is finally shining where it belongs. Right on number 92 in aqua and orange. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? In a shocking twist that has fans buzzing across the entire football world, rumors are exploding around the idea that Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, might be stepping out of retirement, not to throw touchdowns again, but to call them. The buzz began when insiders close to the Miami Dolphins reported unusual meetings between Brady and key Dolphins personnel, including head coach Mike McDaniel and general manager Chris Greer. The meetings weren't about broadcasting or ambassador roles. They were apparently much more tactical. Sources claim Brady has been deeply involved in offensive play design sessions over the past few weeks, fueling speculation that he could be set to join Miami as their new offensive coordinator. While nothing has been confirmed officially, the NFL rumor mill is already in overdrive. Could the legend be trading his cleats for a headset? The league hasn't seen a storyline this wild since Brett Favre's saga. Whispers from inside the Dolphins training facility suggest that Tom Brady's potential involvement with the team is far from superficial. According to insiders, he's been spotted reviewing game film with Dolphins quarterbacks and even drawing up red zone schemes on the whiteboard. Behavior not typical of a retiree just visiting for fun. One anonymous staffer reportedly told local Miami sports radio that Brady spoke like a coach, thought like a coach, and commanded the room like he never left the huddle. If that's not enough, Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa posted a cryptic message on Instagram showing a photo of him smiling with a goat emoji in the caption. Fans immediately began speculating that it was about Brady's surprise presence around the team. Could this be a case of smoke without fire? Or is Brady slowly laying the foundation for the most high-profile coaching debut the NFL has ever seen? Let's not forget, this wouldn't be Brady's first flirtation with the Dolphins. Back in 2022, Miami was heavily penalized for tampering after it was discovered that team officials had contacted Brady multiple times while he was still under contract with the Buccaneers. At that time, it was rumored they wanted him as a part owner and possibly even as their quarterback. Although that plan collapsed under legal pressure, it clearly showed how far the Dolphins were willing to go to bring Brady into their orbit. Fast forward to 2025, and the pieces are mysteriously aligning again. Ownership has changed hands slightly, the roster has matured, and the team is in desperate need of a creative spark to push them past the AFC juggernauts. If Brady truly wants to return to the game in a way that keeps him close to the action but avoids the physical toll, becoming an offensive coordinator might be the perfect fit. The idea of Tom Brady becoming an offensive coordinator may sound outrageous at first, but when you really think about it, it makes a surprising amount of sense. The man has always been revered for his football IQ, film study habits, and deep understanding of in-game strategy. Over 2 decades, he ran multiple systems, adapted to countless game plans, and outsmarted some of the most brilliant defensive minds in football. His football mind is a resource that any team would kill to tap into. And given his well-documented friendship with Dolphins minority owner Bruce Bill and proximity to Miami, he owns property there, it would be no shock if this is the next logical step in his football journey. Plus, Brady has already made it clear that retirement doesn't mean disappearing from the sport. He said repeatedly that he'd be around the game in some capacity. Maybe this is what he meant all along. Adding more fuel to the fire, insiders are pointing to Brady's recent decision to delay his broadcasting debut with Fox until the 2025 season. At first, the delay seemed odd. Why would he step away from a $375 million contract unless he had something else brewing? Some speculated it was for personal reasons or just to take a break from the limelight, but now, in hindsight, it looks more like he might have been keeping his schedule open for a coaching opportunity. The Dolphins' offensive coaching staff has experienced shakeups recently with their former passing game coordinator accepting a college head coaching position. The timing is almost too perfect. Brady steps back from Fox, the Dolphins have a vacancy, and suddenly he's reportedly hanging around the facility. If it walks like a coach, talks like a coach, and game plans like Brady, well, maybe it is a coach. Of course, this wouldn't just be a huge move for the Dolphins. It would shake the entire NFL. The league's greatest quarterback stepping into coaching would instantly make Miami one of the most talked about teams heading into the season. Imagine a Dolphins offense led by Tua, coached by Brady, and packed with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. The strategic possibilities are endless. Brady could implement hybrid systems, combining New England's timing-based offense with elements of the Shanahan tree that McDaniel comes from. Defenses would be in trouble. And more importantly, the locker room culture would change overnight. Players would be held to GOAT standards every week. And if Brady succeeds, who's to say this won't become the first step toward an eventual head coaching role or even a front office takeover? One thing's for sure, no team, no fan base, and no defensive coordinator would look at Miami the same way again. There's also the question of legacy. For someone like Tom Brady, whose competitive fire has never been in doubt, the sidelines may offer the only acceptable alternative to the field. Coaching would allow him to outsmart defenses, mold young quarterbacks, and chase greatness in a whole new way. Some NFL legends have tried coaching with mixed results, but Brady's meticulous preparation and leadership skills make him a unique case. And unlike others who eased into coaching through assistant jobs or college gigs, Brady's path might start right at the top. The Dolphins might be the only team bold enough and ambitious enough to let him do that. Think about the marketing potential, the ticket sales, the media frenzy. From HBO specials to ESPN exclusives, Brady's coaching debut would be primetime gold. And let's be honest, the NFL loves a good storyline. Brady on the sideline might be just what the league needs to supercharge a new era. Still, not everyone is sold. Some skeptics believe this is just off-season smoke meant to stir excitement. They point out that Brady has shown zero public interest in coaching before. Others say the Dolphins are just using Brady's name to distract from deeper issues with their offense and coaching staff. There's also the matter of control. Would someone like McDaniel, who's known for his creative offensive mind, be willing to share the spotlight with someone as iconic as Brady? Would the locker room dynamic survive the presence of a living legend in the coach's room? It's not unheard of for big-name coaches to clash with head coaches or front offices. This could go spectacularly right or spectacularly wrong. But if you're a Dolphins fan, the mere possibility of having Brady drawing up plays on the sideline is enough to set hearts racing. Even if it's only a rumor for now, the excitement is real. The NFL is a league driven by stories, and this one might be its juiciest in years. If Brady joins the Dolphins staff, even unofficially, every network, podcast, and sports blog will dissect every snap Miami takes. Every time Tua throws a touchdown or makes a mistake, the cameras will cut to Brady on the sideline. Is he nodding in approval? Is he scribbling in a notebook? The narrative power of his rumor is already undeniable. We're not even in the regular season yet, and the Dolphins have suddenly become the most interesting team in the league. Vegas odds are shifting, analysts are reworking their AFC rankings, and fans are booking flights to Miami just in case. They get a glimpse of Brady on the sideline. Whether it becomes reality or fizzles out as just another what if, the possibility of Brady becoming the Dolphins' offensive coordinator has already changed the NFL conversation. For now, all eyes are on Miami. Officially, the team hasn't commented on the rumors. Brady, as always, remains tight-lipped, declining to confirm or deny anything during a brief appearance at a charity golf event this week. But insiders say the decision could come within days. If the Dolphins truly pull this off, it would be one of the boldest, most headline-grabbing moves in modern NFL history. And even if it doesn't happen, the mere discussion reveals something deeper. The league isn't done with Tom Brady, and maybe, just maybe, he's not done with the league either. Football isn't just a game to Brady. It's part of his identity. And whether as a quarterback, commentator, or coach, he's always going to find his way back to the center of it. So keep your eyes peeled, because the next chapter of the GOAT's football story might be just beginning, and it might start in the sun-soaked sidelines of Miami. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.